Hey everyone, it's Jason from EskimoTV.net, and today I'm going to be reviewing Venom, There Be Carnage, which is the sequel to 2018's Venom, which was directed by Ruben Fleischer. Andy Serkis picks up the reins in this film in the director's chair, and this film is a pretty good improvement from its predecessor. Some of the problems I had with that first film were its slow pacing for the first act of the film. It was entirely a serious film that was portraying this journalist going through some issues, and it lacked anything that was truly engaging or comedic, which it slowly turns into as Venom gets introduced into that film. I wasn't sure what tone they were going for, and that conflict of tonality just did not work entirely for me. It had some good moments, but that film I did not enjoy, specifically for that weak beginning part of the film. Venom, Let There Be Carnage embraces its goofy, silly, campy tone. It has the luxury of having Eddie and Venom already together. They are a pair, and they're going through some problems in this film. Eddie Brock, reprised by Tom Hardy, is trying to get back into the journalism world. He's also trying to adapt his life living with this symbiote Venom that's constantly talking to him. The banter between them is quite humorous. Clytus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson, is in prison on death row and wants to talk to Eddie. Through an argument, he gets provoked and eventually becomes this extremely crazy other version of Venom that you all can already guess is Carnage. He has a relationship with a woman, her name's Frances Berenson, and his goal is to get out of prison, save her, and he has the hopes that Carnage will help him get what he wants, and he in turn is going to help Carnage get what he wants, which is to eliminate Eddie and Venom altogether. One of the film's biggest strengths is its pacing. It's really fast-paced and it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. The main problem that I had with this film is its screenplay. While I liked that the film embraced its goofy camp, one of the weaknesses as a result of that was the emotion and the tension that may have been there if this was a serious film is obviously lost. But at the same time, there's a lot of jokes that you can put into the screenplay that would not be able to be in a film that is taking itself seriously. At the same time, some of those jokes work, some quite don't, some of those miss the mark. But I think there's some fun to be had with Venom if you want to see a silly side to him and hear Eddie and Venom talk back and forth about the different struggles they have. Venom just wants to eat brains, but Eddie tells him that he has to follow some rules. He can only kill bad people, he can only eat chickens, and there's some absurdity to it. Unfortunately, the conflict wasn't rather engaging. The tension between the two villains wasn't extremely thrilling. Because of the campy, goofy humor, you never really feel a sense of dread that anything super crazy is going to happen. You also don't really have an emotional attachment to either of these characters. Their motives feel rather contrived. Since the first film started out with just Venom and not having Spider-Man, what this film seeks out to do is make Venom the hero and antagonize Carnage. Venom still is extravagant and crazy and wants to eat people's brains out, but he's becoming a little bit more humane due to Eddie in this past year coaching him. So this movie does take place a year after the first one, so you can definitely see some change with his character. The antagonist wasn't all that interesting. Here's this serial killer that wants to talk to Eddie. I thought that there would have been a reason. Maybe he suspected that Eddie had this symbiote, but that does not seem to be the case. It just seems rather random and an unbelievable coincidence that the two would meet up. It seems that this film sought to humanize and make Venom more of a hero, antagonize this iconic villain known as Carnage, and the ending just seems a little bit thrown together and was a bit underwhelming. But if you want to have some decent fun, humor, comedy within this superhero or anti-hero, whatever you want to call it, film. I think that this is a fair time at the movies with family and friends. I'm going to give Venom Let There Be Carnage a B-. I want to talk about the end credit scene. This is a big spoiler, and so if you do not want any major plot detail with future films to be spoiled, you definitely need to click off of this video. This is just my thoughts on that end credit scene, and this is really for people who have seen the film. So if you have not seen it, I am telling you right now to click off this video, come back after you've seen the film, and let me know your thoughts. The end credit scene of this movie has Eddie and Venom chilling, watching TV, and the end credit report scene from Spider-Man Far From Home with Jameson saying that Peter Parker is a bad guy and that he's actually Spider-Man comes on. Venom looks as if he wants to kill this guy. I think that's interesting, and I'm rather nervous for the future film that's coming up, and I'll tell you why. There's a lot of villains that are mixed up in this upcoming film. We already have Green Goblin, you have Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, and you have some other villains that have been discussed all in this film, and now we have Venom. It's going to be a lot for them to cover and really have a satisfying cling. I think of the Amazing Spider-Man movies or Spider-Man 3 where they had so many villains all in one movie. Now, one advantage with these films is that a lot of these villains are coming from standalone films where each of their characters have had the opportunity to be developed. And so that is certainly a plus. I think that the way Venom will be involved is obviously throughout this film we see that Eddie does not want Venom killing anyone, maybe with the exception of bad people. Now that Spider-Man is being publicized as this bad guy, maybe Eddie's going to let Venom take on this charge towards annihilating or getting rid of Spider-Man and thinking of it as a favor. We might see some twists and turns as the truth gets revealed, but those were my thoughts on the end credit scene. If you got to see the film, you saw that end credit scene, I would love to know your thoughts on this movie. My name is Jason Escamilla from EskimoTV.net. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can drop a comment with your thoughts on the film. Are you excited to see the film? What did you think of the first one? And if you get the chance to see this film, I'm curious on what you thought about this film in comparison to that first film. If you want to check out more reviews, you can also look at EskimoTV.net, where you'll find reviews from myself as well as other authors. Once again, my name is Jason Escamilla from EskimoTV.net.